I came to Panama in 1957 and trained with the Marine Corps, and then enjoyed myself at all the training in Fort Sherman. Got quite a life inside of Panama for the first 10 years. The area of Panama has always been an intriguing one to me. Never had a nicer place. Mother Nature has been very kind. We're going to be approaching the Bay of Limon, and we'll go by about 22, 23 ships at anchor. As we go through the breakwater, we're going to be 6 miles away from the steps of Gatun. The neatest view, Casey, is this amazing Christmas tree. You have red and green lights leading all 6 miles up to these 3 giant terraces that will be bathed in white light. And in the beginning of the dawn, before it really gets bright. Remember, we have a little strange geography in Panama. You folks, we're not going from the east to the west. We're going from the north to the south. And where Panama ends is actually 27 miles east of where we go in. So the sun can come up over the Pacific Ocean and set over the Atlantic Ocean. It's one of the strangest parallels going. But at 6 a.m., we'll approach the place that I call the past, present, and future. On the right-hand side of the ship, there'll be the old French canal from 1879. We'll be in the new canal, or the existing canal, from 1911 to 1914. But then they're going to see, for the first time, because it's really almost a quarter of the way done, the new locks. Not new canal, but new locks. They'll be over on the port side, and they're gigantic and huge. So it's past to the right, present that we'll be in, and future to the port side or left. As we get closer to the locks are the most gigantic buildings ever constructed out of cement. Now the cement had to be brought in, and the local people would not, the Indians, the Kuna Indians, would not let us to take the sand off the San Blas Islands, so we had to go all the way to Trinidad and Tobago to get the sand and bring them back to the canal to make the cement. The structures look like an old Cecil Mill movie. They're gigantic. You have to figure they're 110 feet wide, almost 1,000 feet long, and 38.5 feet deep. But that's not all of the construction. The city that was built there was, by the way, called Gatun, and you will see a few small houses left of it. Each set of locks in the canal is named after a little town that was right to the side of it. Into the locks. They're gigantic. Do you realize we could put 3 Titanics inside the 3 locks at the same time? Or we could take 2 Eiffel Towers and put them in one lock. Or 4 space shuttles and put them in one lock. Or 500 of those big yellow school buses in one lock. And everything is so natural. When they designed this 118 years ago, it was a feat of engineering that is amazing. Everything is done by gravity. The water comes down these giant rare rate tunnels that are 18 feet wide. And in each lock there's 70 culverts. And the water can come up gently, or 13 minutes fill the whole lock. Or a rush, they can do it as fast as 8 minutes and fill the whole lock. So each lock will take us up to a total of 84 feet above sea level. And it's so smooth, you will not feel the ship move. And yet we'll only be 19 inches from the cement on either side of the ship. We're going to be in there, snug as a bug. And we're going to have these 4 electric locomotives to the front and 4 to the stern. And they'll keep us in a spring line type things. They'll keep us in the same spot as we go up and down. And they guide the ship as we go forward. The captain and the pilots, of course, will navigate as far as the engine room goes. And we'll go a lot slower than some people would like, but folks, you're going to have the opportunity of a lifetime. You're going to see the steps of Gatun. Never messed up in the Panama Canal. From 1914, the first ship, August 15th, 1914, when the Anaconda sailed through, to when the beautiful Island Princess will cruise through. The whole procedure will take you about an hour and 38 minutes. It's not very long, but going up the 84 feet, it's the system. It was worked out. Engineering, great thing. Imagine, John L. Stevens, the second engineer, proposed to Congress in 1905 that we do what they call step locks to go up and over. Everyone else said, no, we want a sea level canal. Well, the greatest thing in history, the eighth wonder of the world, are these 3 steps of concrete. Do you realize last year 14,431 ships went through these locks? These locks that you're going through. And each one of those ships, it required 52 million gallons of fresh water. The locks run themselves in pretty much fashion. They have to have maintenance every 5 months. But they really are amazing to think. The gates, the big gates, they're called meter gates, they're 86 feet high, 66 feet wide, 7 feet thick. They're put together with rivets, more rivets than the Island Princess has. They came from 16 Pittsburgh foundries, brought down here and put together. They're the largest moving piece in the Panama Canal. Each one is controlled by a motor about the size of a lawnmower motor, and they open and close. They float. They're almost like their own ships. Human life is always the biggest consideration for whatever you do. The French lost 23,000 people doing the canal from 1879 to 1893. We came in and we had to compete with these mosquitoes. Both yellow fever and malaria was rampant. The United States lost 5,809 people digging the canal. The cost in humans, 28,609 people. It's a heavy cost. But do you realize the whole thing only cost $343 million? You think about all these billions, no, trillions they spent in these packages today. Going back in time, when things were cheaper, but things were harder to find, the cost was amazing. We went and we bought from the French the whole canal operation. And you'll see the one canal they dug as we approach the steps of Gatun. For $40 million, the French gave us the right to have the Panama Canal. We would give Panama $10 million right up front and pay them annually $250,000. Plus, Colombia really yelled because, you know, Panama used to be one of the states of Colombia. We had to give them $25 million. If Teddy Roosevelt was alive, that would have never happened because he was saying, we're not going to do that kind of stuff, we're taking it. Well, bully for him. The whole project to build this canal cost $343 million. 343 million, not billion, not trillion, $343 million. It was the greatest bargain of all times. And yet, it took us into the next century. That was our space shot. And we created something that connected the world. There's nothing quite like the experience. They call it the eighth wonder of the world because it's a people place. People made it, but people continue to make it good because they come to see it. I don't care whether you're sitting out on your balcony or you're upstairs in the Horizon Court. I want you to see the 3 steps of Gatun. I know they call them locks, but we've always looked upon them as the steps. And as they look at these steps of Gatun, you see the achievement, and that's great. But I like to think of it as a real show and tell. I need you to get off the ship. I need you to go on shore excursions. I need you to wander around the shops of Cologne 2000. I need you to smell the difference in the air. I need you to enjoy your experience because you've been to the eighth wonder of the world.